So if you're looking to buy shares right now, here are 5 companies that are about to pay their dividends in the next month or two. The ex-dividend date hasn't been announced yet, so you can get in quick before they make that announcement. They're all 100% franked if that's important to you. And of course, they all have high growth. So this is going to be a really quick video. I'm just going to jump into the companies and show you which ones have upcoming dividends. They're all over 5% and they're all pretty stable. Let's have a look. The first company is FMG, Fortescue Metals. Their dividend yield is currently 12.7 because it's been increasing. It is, of course, 100% franked. Now, as you can see, it's been growing quite substantially over the past few years. They usually have an ex-dividend date of around the start of March and pay either late March or early April. They haven't announced yet when the next dividends are. They'll be announcing soon, but I like to look at things that are coming up before they actually announce. It's actually up to you whether you want to wait until they announce what the dividend is going to be before you purchase or not. That's a personal preference. Usually the March dividend will be lower than the September dividend or October dividend, whenever they pay. So the interim dividend will be lower than the final dividend. So I would be probably expecting quite a similar amount from 2021, although they might surprise us. We don't know that yet. But yeah, that's the first one, FMG, Fortescue Metals. Now here's a look at Fortescue Metals over the last 5 years, increased 229%. Let's go to the next one, BHP. BHP has a dividend yield of 7.71%. 100% franked. They've been a little bit more over the pace, not quite as stable as FMG. They have been growing. They usually have an ex-dividend date around the early March and pay at the end of March. And their interim dividends are usually lower than their final dividends, so keep that in mind. Yeah, but they haven't announced yet. If you wanted to get in early, you could, or you could just wait for the announcement date. BHP, over 5 years, up 86%. We have that dip, not quite back up to its highest point yet, which means it's got room to grow. Let's go into JB HiFi. So JB HiFi, their dividends are nice and stable, and their interim one is usually higher than their final dividend, which is great. So dividend yield of 5.4%, franking 100%. So they'll probably announce pretty soon because their ex-dividend date is usually the end of February. They haven't announced quite yet. As of filming anyway, they haven't announced, and they usually pay around early to mid-March. And it's nice that their interim dividend is higher than their final dividend. And JB HiFi, over 5 years, pretty stable actually. They haven't grown that much over the last, say, 12 months. So they do have room to grow. I actually think they might actually grow a little bit further. The fourth one is Rio Tinto. We have a dividend yield of around 8.2%. So the final dividend is the one that they actually pay in April. The ex-dividend date, the date that you have to buy before, is the beginning of March. Usually they haven't announced. They usually pay around the middle of April. So yeah, they'll probably pay I would say probably around the same as they did last year, maybe slightly lower. We have Rio, the 5-year chart. Materials dipped recently at the end of 2021, but they're recovering now. Not quite at the height that it was in July last year, but I think it's going to grow quite well. Fifth one, last one, is Super Retail Group. Their dividend yield is 6.1%, 100% franked. Their ex-dividend date is usually around the end of February, and they pay pretty early in April, sometimes late March. They're usually pretty stable. They were higher in 2021, probably because they deferred their 2020 dividends, but I would expect probably not as high as 2021, but still pretty good. And SUL, Super Retail Group, over 5 years. We've got a dip in COVID dip, and it's back up. It's back up at the highest point that it's been, currently trading around the highest point. I don't see there's going to be a huge amount of growth here, but their dividends are nice and stable, and that's why I like it. So I am looking to buy in the next few weeks. Maybe I'll wait until another dip, but I've already got some of these companies and I might add 1 or 2 more to my portfolio so I can get those quick, easy dividends coming in like right away, because it's always nice when you first invest to get those payments up front without having to wait 6 months. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. It was just a quick one just to get the information out to you. Happy investing, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!